Hello and welcome back to the ninth episode of the 451 podcast with myself, Phil and Cam. If you enjoy anything football related on the channel, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, share to your mates, and any support or feedback at this stage of the podcast will be greatly appreciated. Also, we have an Instagram at the 451 podcast, so make sure you go over there and give that a follow as well. Okay, so we'll move right into the action from the Champions League in midweek. We'll start on Tuesday. RB Leipzig 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Leipzig, I think, did you watch this game as well? Did we all watch this game? Yeah. I think it's fair to say that Leipzig were dominant over a slightly, hampered Spurs side. Sabitzer and Lima in the middle, especially. How far can Leipzig go in this competition? Because you looked at that performance on Tuesday night and you thought, this is a team that is more than capable of going far in this competition. So what did you think, Phil?
I think it depends on who they draw in the next round, whether they can advance or not, because there's no doubt that they're a good side, and they showed that in the Bundesliga and now the Champions League this season. But again, I think if they come up against a team like PSG or Man City, if they get through, or Real Madrid, whoever comes through in the next knockout rounds, I think they might struggle, because defensively Tottenham did have a couple of chances, especially in the second leg, half chances, but teams with better quality and their whole team playing, because obviously Tottenham are hampered by injuries, I think they could potentially struggle. What do you think, Cam?
I agree with it. Depends who they get. I think they won't. I don't think they will progress that much further because of just how strong the Champions League gets towards this stage. Obviously, they've got a brilliant manager in Julian Nagelsmann, really young, good, but I don't think they've got the quality in the team and the experience to progress much further.
What's a good draw then for Leipzig?
Atalanta.
Straight away off the bat, Atalanta.
Well, I think it has to be on paper.
Yeah. We'll talk about Atalanta in just a minute.
Both sides have progressed into this stage of competition for the first time. So I think on paper, Leipzig would prefer to have Atalanta over the likes of other teams.
Other than Atalanta, then?
I don't know whether they'd catch someone out like Atletico Madrid. Obviously, I think Atletico Madrid are they're used to, and they play a good style of football to match the top teams, but I don't know whether they could potentially catch Atletico Madrid out, because they're having quite a poor season apart from the Champions League run.
I think PSG, because Dortmund did show some promise. Obviously, the first leg they beat PSG quite soundly as well.
Do you think that Leipzig are a better team than Dortmund, though?
I think they're better balanced. I think Leipzig's defence is a lot more shored up than Dortmund's. They're not, obviously, going forward, they're not as potent as Dortmund, but I think they're better balanced than Dortmund, and I think they could catch PSG out.
I think PSG going away to any ground, they're vulnerable. Showed it in previous campaigns and this year. Obviously, they lost at Dortmund, which fills Leipzig with hope if they were to draw them in future rounds. But I think at part of the Princes, I'd fancy PSG to beat most teams, just because of the attacking threat they have, so on like that. I just think PSG at home would be able to beat most teams.
Okay. So we'll move to the other side of the tie, the Spurs side. Does this show that a lot of work needs to be done at Tottenham, this result? Because I think ever since Mourinho's come in, he started off, reasonably well. I mean, he's not kept many clean sheets right from the start, but I think, is it starting to kind of wear off the Mourinho that was charming to start with and kind of looked like he had his mojo back?
I think what's happened is Mourinho's had that time out. He's come in, feel good factor around him, thinking this is going to be different this time, and now with the results going against him, I think he's at 6 games without a win for Tottenham now, after Leipzig's defeat. But they've been hampered by injuries, which I think needs to be put into perspective, because they haven't had the best results, but he's had a horrible luck with injuries to key players like Kane, Son, Luka, so on. Bergwijn now as well.
But even so, you watched that game on Tuesday, and Lloris, arguably at fault for both goals. Alderweireld looks a shadow of what he was 2 or 3 years ago. Same with, I know Jan Vertonghen didn't play, but he also looks a shadow of his former self.
They definitely need an overhaul. There's no doubt about that. But I think with some of the key players are missing, it won't ever help. Every team will struggle if they had the amount of injuries that Tottenham have had this campaign.
Cam, do you think does Mourinho's recent tirade against Ndombele especially show that he's feeling the pressure now?
No, I think it's Tottenham's record signing, you've got to expect more. He's come in and he does look a bit overweight at times and stuff like that. And I think Mourinho was justified to expect more from him because I know obviously, and Mourinho did say in defence it takes good players time to adjust to the Premier League sometimes. So certain players react differently, and I think Mourinho just needs to get that right because I'm not sure whether he did get it right at Manchester United. I think it's a bit too. I don't know whether the game's too advanced for him now in terms of how you handle players, but I think he was justified in a way because you need to expect more.
Spurs for the rest of the season, will they make the Europa League places, do you think, at this point?
I personally don't. I think as a Tottenham, if you're a Tottenham fan or just as Tottenham, you need to write off the season, start again. When Mourinho took over Man United, he could have taken over in December, January when we had Van Gaal, but he kind of said, no, I want to start with a new season, start fresh. But I think he was a bit desperate for the job, so he's come in early, and I think you just need to write the season off.
I think it could be a blessing for Tottenham if they were to miss out on European competitions, because then they can focus on getting a bit of a rebuild in the summer, getting your confidence back up by playing less games, hopefully doing better in the league for them next season. And then from there you can build on, get back into Europe, and from there you can sort of kick on again. It's not gone the way they wanted it to, considering they was in the Champions League final last year, but I think maybe the best thing for them is to just, like Cam says, write off the season.
Do you think
sort of start again next?
Do you think though that Levy will dip his hand in his pocket for an overhaul?
This is a big question looming over it, because I've seen a lot of Tottenham fans voice their opinion, saying that he's bleeding the club dry, this one person said. And I think he's done a lot of work for Tottenham. You know, they've got the brand new ground. I think they're getting a brand new training ground as well. So it's not as if they've not spent the money. They spent record amount of money on Ndombele in the summer. This window in the January just gone, they signed quite a few players then as well. So I don't think it's a case that there's not the money there to invest. It's just who they spend it on, and if they can recruit wisely. Because these players like Vertonghen and Lloris have been there for years now, and I think they're finally starting to decline. Yeah. So I think they need to rebuild and get the right players in, which will shape the future for them.
It's probably more about signing shrewdly rather than kind of blowing big money on, kind of promising. Well, I mean, promising talent, you can buy that shrewdly, but you don't want to be buying too many superstars if you were Spurs, because otherwise...
They tried to do it before when Bale left. They tried to sign all these players and it went horribly.
Well, it was only Eriksen and Lamella that settled in.
Yeah, but all the rest didn't, and they can't. I mean, I don't think they're going to sell anyone for big money. There's talk about Kane potentially wanting to move away to win trophies, but I think they're not going to lose anyone for massive money in the summer, in my opinion.
Do you not think, though, as if they don't have any European football next season, they've gone years without... They've built this team, they've failed to win a trophy. How long do players like Kane and Son stay there for?
I think either Kane or Ali move this summer, one of them.
Ali,
yeah.
Who do you think he'd go to?
I think out of the two, though, Kane deserves to move more than
Oh,
Ali.
yeah. But I think Ali still has that, potential. You forget he's only, 22, 23 still? It feels like he's been around for ages, but... Like he's still got bags of potentially 50 Premier League goals. I mean, for a midfielder, I think I remember you saying that's the fastest any. Is it the fastest any midfielder's got to 50?
I'm not quite sure,
but still the potential and the quality
there.
Yeah, and
people I think obviously had such a good start to his Tottenham career. I think did he get 20 goals in all competitions in the first season or something like that? And obviously he's not been able to repeat the same as that since, but. He's still a good player.
Yeah, people forget how good he actually is. It's just he doesn't show it enough at the minute.
And I think in terms of when you're having a rebuild, it's not so much the money spending on players in terms of the fee, it's the wages. They need to break their wage structure because you're not going to attract any top players with the wage structure that they've got.
Yeah, okay. So we'll move on from Spurs to the other tie on Tuesday. Valencia 3, Atalanta 4. I think this was the game I'd probably rather watch than than Leipzig versus Spurs. No player in 2020 scored more goals than Josip Ilicic of Atalanta. He scored 4 at the Mestalla on Tuesday. Do you think, I'll ask the same question as I did with Leipzig, do you think Atalanta can go any further? And if they do, what tie do you think would favour them the most?
They can blow any team away, because with the amount of goals they've scored this season in both Serie A, the Champions League and any other competition that you've competed in, they've scored a lot of goals. So that's not a problem. It's a defence that's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen many teams in the past that have had an unreal strike force. Dortmund are sort of the same. They've got all these exciting players, but they're a bit shaky at the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they are to progress, it'll take a mammoth effort, because for a team like Valencia putting 3 past them, sort of, to me, shows that they're vulnerable at the back. And any other better team could get past that. And Atalanta, can they outscore every team left in the competition? Don't think they can.
Potentially. You've seen how many goals they've scored this year. They've scored, I think, 15 more than anyone else in Serie A. You know, they have that capacity to literally just go and score 6 or 7 whenever they want.
And they are in good form, actually.
Yeah.
After what I've just said then, the 6 wins in the last 7, so
Mhm.
they're in good form. But it's just who they draw, because there's a lot of good teams left in the competition who have more experience than Atalanta now as well.
Cam, who do you think Atalanta could beat, even maybe to progress to the semi-finals?
I'm not sure where Leipzig have that fast counter-attacking kind of pace. I think you need that against the top teams in a way, especially when you're a smaller team like that. And I don't think Atalanta have they're not the same. Ilicic is a good hold-up player. You've got Muriel, he's not rapid anymore, and I just don't think they've got the same capabilities of Leipzig to go and hit a team on a counter. I can't really see them beating anyone next round, but they'll probably make me eat my words.
Yeah,
I think at home, I think it's the same for a lot of teams. I think at home they could beat anyone, but it's just a way. I think they just struggle, especially when it comes to conceding goals.
It's weird with Atalanta though, because it's not like a young team that they've brought through, and it's kind of academy driven. Look, you look at the front three. You've got Zapata, who's late 20s, early 30s. You've got Papu Gomez, who's been there for an age. He's 30s now. Ilicic, he's coming into the best form of his career. He's
32.
In his early 30s. The midfield, Martin Darun failed at Middlesbrough. You know, he's late 20s. The defence is super slow and, late 20s, mid 30s. So it's not a team that's fresh. It's a team that's kind of coming off a middling career, but somehow kind of overachieving. Just overachieving in the league and now the Champions League.
When you consider they lost the first 3 group games as well, a testament to
it's
how well they've played
remarkable.
since then.
It's remarkable.
That they're still in the competition.
And obviously they only played Valencia. Out of everyone, Valencia's probably the weakest team.
Well, I mean, it's still the Champions League.
I mean, you have to beat what's in front of you, but they conceded 3 goals to Valencia. If you're playing a better team, they'll punish them, I think.
Okay, interesting discussion. So we'll move on now to Wednesday's action, last night's action. We'll start off with Liverpool 2, Atletico 3. First time Liverpool have lost at home since, I think,
in
2017.
42 games, I think.
2017, Palace?
We've lost against Chelsea in 2018.
Oh, yes, yeah. But still, a long
43
record.
games it was.
43. Wow. Well, it was far removed from the kind of boring, drab first leg that there was at the Wanda Metropolitano. Liverpool dominated for most of the game. I think that's fair to say. I think that's agreed across this table. But Simeone's tactics and individual mistakes meant somehow that Atletico progress to the quarter-final. Has this rescued Atletico's somewhat disappointing season, though? Do you think? I'll pass it to you, Cam, because Phil's still grieving.
Yeah. I don't... No, not really. They have to go further for it to be classed as remotely a success, because there's no point going to the semi-finals of the Champions League if you're not going to finish in the top 4 of your own league.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, it proves they can still do it at that level. but I don't think it'll change much about their season if they don't progress further.
Were you impressed with Atletico?
Yeah, I was impressed with Oblak, especially. But yeah, I was quite surprised because obviously they've been a bit more leaky than usual this season in terms of conceding goals, but they did really well defensively to keep Liverpool out. Because credit to Liverpool, they did batter them.
Yeah.
But shows they can do the job. And when I was watching the first half, I was thinking, although they're defending really well, I can't see them scoring. Just because they didn't have that outlet up front.
No.
Although they had Costa, it was just him up front really. But Simeone, still a top manager in his decision making. He's proven it again last night.
Yeah, his
Still
substitutes.
up there in the
The
best.
substitutes of Llorente and Morata, basically carried them to the victory. Phil, I'll ask you the same question. Were you impressed with Atletico?
It's one of those games that you sort of the next day you look back on and think, how have we lost that? Obviously it's only like last night, so it's still a bit raw.
Were you impressed though?
No, like I don't know. It was like, from a tactical point of view, I don't think it was anything like a masterclass from Simeone, because they did get battered.
Yeah.
On another day, if it was any more clinical, it could have ended up 4 or 5. With when you consider they had 34 shots. I was impressed by the fact that they've gone to Anfield and won, because not many teams can do that. So testament to them for that one. But I wouldn't say, it might be just saltiness coming through, but I don't think they deserved to win yesterday.
No, I
think
agree with you.
To score 3 goals in extra time is just a bit of a kick to the teeth.
I mean, yeah,
especially the way they did for the first goal.
Yeah, I think that is worth mentioning, because if Alisson was in goal, the chances of that happening are probably very, very slim.
2 of the goals were from outside the box. Alisson's only conceded 1, and that was from a corner against Burnley in his whole career at Liverpool. So I think if Alisson's between the sticks last night, they wouldn't have lost, or conceded 2 of the goals that they did. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, but you don't know what really would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. Like, a game can have so many different outcomes, and you could say all day, if Alisson was there, that they would have progressed. But it's just disappointing, like from a Liverpool fans' point of view.
Sorry,
Go on.
Adrian's getting a lot of stick for last night, but do you not think when Liverpool's attackers create that many chances, they should be scoring more?
There's no doubt if you have 34 shots, you should score more than 2 goals.
Especially with your attack. So I think it is very unfair to blame last night's defeat on Adrian.
It doesn't solely lie on Adrian,
Yeah.
but again, I'm not looking back at it thinking it was a poor performance from Liverpool, because that's been our best performance of 2020 in terms of the way we've dominated from start to finish. And to be fair, I expected no less, because a game that you need to win at Anfield on European night, you'd expect exactly the way the game went. I think if it's ifs and buts again, but I think if they'd got that second goal before extra time, it would have been deserved. They was knocking on the door, especially in the last 20 minutes. I think Atletico had 2 spells of 5 minutes throughout the whole game where they looked like they was having a good game. Apart from that, it was just backs against the wall.
Yeah, do you think it was a bit unfair on Adrian? Because they're not like Karius level mistakes where it was literally him giving them a goal.
At the top level though, any mistake like that gets punished, and that's why it's sort of like can be unforgivable. I'm not like, in my opinion, I'm not that bothered. Adrian's not the reason why we've just lost that.
Yeah,
we weren't good enough in the first leg, but you look at you look at the 4 goals he scored against us, they're not world class goals as such. The first one was
the second one's a great finish though, I think. I don't think Alisson saves that, the second one, for me.
I just think it's poor defending to allow.
I think it should be prevented anyway. I thought Gomez and Henderson should have done a lot better job of it than what they did. Considering how many attacks Atletico had, and they put 3 past Jeff, I still think, I know the blame, some of the blame is going to be on Adrian, but I think you've got to look at your defence as well. Conceding 3 against a team that don't score 3 very often.
I mean, the third goal, it's sort of like a typical counter-attacking goal. You're trying to just get a goal back in the last minute of the game that you've already pretty much lost, because you need 2 goals.
As well.
It could have been, but when all the team's pretty much forward and then you get cut out, it was good play by Atletico to get Morata through, but then the finish, it's poor keeping again for me. The near post is open,
But-
far too open.
Yeah, as you said, if you had 34 shots, you should be scoring more. And I think it's, I don't know, that's the attacker's job, not to have good shots. Like, and I know Robertson's obviously a left back, but he should be scoring that header.
Oh, I don't know. I thought Trippier did well, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think just them kind of chances, you look at them and like you have to score them at
It
this
was-
level.
For me, it was Mo Salah that was wasteful
Yeah.
again.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was so wasteful.
I
Mark-
thought he had a good game.
But in
They
front
have
of
good
goal,
games,
he's
but
like,
their job's to score at the end of the day, and if they're not, they're not doing their job.
considering the amount of shots he has, he should be bagging 50 a season.
Yeah, but
With the
to think
chances he has.
scored 20 consecutive goals plus in each season.
20
What?
consecutive goals?
Yeah,
No, as in like he scored 20 goals in all comps this
Right,
season.
right.
But he's done that for the last 3 seasons. It's
20
not as
goals
if-
in 3.
It's not as if he has all these shots and never scores. He does.
Yeah, but
I
He has a lot
understand
more.
I understand where you're coming from, but no player is going to have a 100% or 80% shot accuracy, are they?
but his ratio is bad.
Yeah, it's not like
But with the amount of
Marnie's
70 goals in
excusable.
100 Premier League games.
Yeah, it's
ha-
but he could
scored
have
a-
what?
ha-
He could
he
have
scored a
one.
handful in
He
Champions
could
League.
have 120 in 100.
And I think Liverpool would have
But
more
no player,
goals.
apart from people like Messi, has that sort of ratio.
Liverpool would have more goals as a team if maybe he passed instead of shooting every time.
But he does get assists as well. I think rival fans get on his back.
Yeah,
in my
but you
opinion.
can't just say assists. Like, you've got to look at it as, if he gets like
There's
9
no-
assists, think about
there's-
how many assists he could have.
There's no denying that there's been times in games where he's been wasteful, but every player, Firmino,
It's the sa-
Mane,
it's the sa-
every player's wasteful, but because it's Salah and people see it a loads of time, they just think, he's just selfish constantly. I
Mane's-
don't think
I
that's
think-
fair.
Mane's decision making is better though,
Yeah, a lot better.
which is probably why Salah gets more stick because Firmino's decision making is probably better. For Mane's is probably better. I don't particularly enjoy watching Mo Salah play. That's just me. I like the
But-
other two.
Yeah, but the Salah's numbers are better than club legends in people's eyes like Suarez and Torres. His stats are better, and he's been unbelievable in the last 3 seasons where he's been in it. So I think people need to sort of respect how good he's been.
I'm not saying he's not a good player. Like,
No, I know you're not saying that, but I mean, like from other people's point of views, people always get on the back of Salah saying he should do this and that. He scores a lot of goals. He gets a lot of goal contributions. He creates a lot. I think he was good last night. I don't think anyone had a poor game by any standards, apart from Adrian, really.
Firmino wasn't.
It wasn't great, but he scored.
Finally at Anfield.
Finally,
Longer waited goal.
Yeah.
Llorente scored more this season than Firmino, and he's had 2 shots. Anyway, I'll ask you this last question, and then we'll move on. Does this put a dampener on Liverpool's season, Phil?
Obviously, it's a bit of a blow that they haven't got further in the Champions League after winning it last year, but they've still had an incredible season. It's been a record-breaking campaign. I don't think, from rivals' point of views, you can take the mix saying, they've been knocked out of 3 competitions, and things, and they're only on for the Premier League. But for a lot of clubs, they'll never win the Premier League. And Liverpool, it took so long to win it. I think in a few weeks, as soon as that Premier League title is secured, I think Liverpool fans won't care about how other games have gone recently, because they've not been good enough. 4 defeats in the last 6 for Liverpool isn't good enough. But like we said last night, when you win so many games, you spoil.
Yeah.
So when you lose games like this,
It hurts.
it hurts, and you realise how different it is. Because a lot of teams lose games like this every few games. So it just goes to show, like, I don't think it's anything to panic about or anything to really knock the campaign, because he's been brilliant the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, as much
So-
as we've kind of digged you up for it. Like, at the end of the day, you've been better than both Man United and Man City by an absolute margin this season. So I guess when we do kind of bring you up for it, it'll hurt. But then next week you'll probably be celebrating a league title anyway, so it won't matter too much.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. If you'd offered Liverpool fans at the start of the season, you're gonna win the league, they'd snap your hand off.
Especially after missing out so closely
Yeah.
last season, every Liverpool fans wanted the league.
And how convincing it's been as well.
They'd have just snapped your hand off. So I think it's just the downer of, we could be on for a quadruple.
Yeah.
At least we might get a treble.
Yeah, we've got
we
that.
might.
But when you
Yeah.
think
We've
about it,
got
I know
that too.
people have like their own sort of opinion on the trophies that I'm going to mention, but the Club World Cup and the Super Cup, they've won those 2 trophies this season. So
I think, it's just not being able to have, for a team so special as everyone says, I think it's just not being able to have that title as such, like the
but
treble winners,
this isn't
the
like it's the
Invincibles.
last season this team's going to ever play together. They're still 26, 27 years old.
Yeah,
So
I think
they've
it's
got a
just-
couple of years ahead of them where they can still win trophies. They could still win trebles. They could still make all these records that fans
Yeah,
are...
you could. I think it's just you had that hope, which that puts a bit of a down on it. But obviously, as I said, if you'd offered Liverpool fans at the start of the season, they'd have snapped your hand off, and it's a brilliant season for Liverpool still.
Agreed.
Just one more question, and we'll need to move on very quickly. If Man City win the Champions League and the League Cup, and Liverpool obviously carry on the form they're going and win the league, who's had the better season, Man City or Liverpool?
If you win the Champions League, say, it's Man City.
Phil?
I think from a Liverpool's perspective, winning the league is what they've wanted. So it's been a great season, but I think if City win the Champions League, something they've not done, I think you have to sort of... It's a tough one to call.
Well, for such a small team, it's going to be good to win the Champions
Right,
League.
moving
isn't
on.
it, really?
Right, we'll move on. PSG 2, Dortmund 0. I haven't got much to say about this other than, yeah.
Brilliant atmosphere at the game.
Great bouncing at the Parc des Princes. Missed opportunity for Dortmund though, do you think?
Definitely. With the team that they've got to win the first leg, you'd expect them to sort of maybe grab an away goal, go into France and play in PSG, especially when there's no crowd there. You know, they're good enough to beat PSG. Showed that a few weeks ago. So it's disappointing from Dortmund's point of view, but PSG, it's the first time they've got past this round in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that was going to happen eventually for PSG to advance further than what they have done, and they should with the squad that they've got.
Cam, can PSG go all the way?
No. They've if you look at their defence, it just doesn't look good enough. I saw people going yesterday, it looks like more like a Europa League defence than Champions League. It's a bit harsh, but it's not up there. They've got a brilliant attacking midfield onwards, but defensive wise, I don't think they've got the top level that you need to go on and win a Champions League. No, if you compare them to other defences,
two centre backs are very good.
very good.
Marquinhos and
Kimpembe.
Marquinhos is,
And then they're playing Thilo Kehrer at right back,
yeah, and then
Bernat at
Bernat
left back.
Yeah, that's
not good enough to go on.
I was thinking of Mounier, Marquinhos.
No, but the
Silva and-
the defence they play, I just don't think it's good enough, and they're too prone to errors in defence.
I think if they got the luck of the draw and got teams like Atalanta or Leipzig, I think they will progress over 2 legs.
See, I don't know.
But if they played someone like Man City, if they are to advance against Real Madrid, I think City would beat them.
All the way, yeah, and you've got to play one of them teams later, sooner or later. So I don't think they can go all the way now.
Okay, all right.
Do you?
No, I don't.
No.
I think even if they do draw Atalanta, I think like that's the game where you think, PSG will go through. Kind of similar to what you thought last season about Man United. Sorry, I've got a croaky voice. About Man United, where PSG thought it was an easier draw, and then obviously look what happened. I'm sure you'll remember that night forever. But I feel like Atalanta or even Leipzig can have the potential to knock them out, because I feel like, like you said, the defence isn't really good enough. But yeah, so we'll move on to the main topic of the video. We are giving our own England 23-man squad for the Euros. So we've all drawn up a list of our 23 English men. That sounded weird. So we'll run from goalkeepers to defenders, midfielders, attackers. So I'll kick it off. I've only got 2 goalkeepers, by the way.
Come on, every squad has 3 goalkeepers.
But I don't feel the need for 3 goalkeepers. One in a season, most teams go through one goalkeeper. You don't need 3.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But it's just how it happens.
Yeah,
isn't it?
but we're trying to book the trend here. We're not going by the traditional.
I guess it's our own opinions. So.
Yeah, so 2 goalkeepers is enough. You don't need 3 goalkeepers. How many times has the 3rd goalkeeper played in an international competition, realistically?
When Rob Green had his poor season, they did a bit of switching, didn't they?
Yeah, but did that work?
Well, no, because we all had
Got
rubbish
knocked out,
goalkeepers
yeah.
at the time.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah.
who's your first goalkeeper?
Are we going? Are we going starting?
I think you should, for goalkeepers, you might as well just name them both.
Okay, Nick Pope and Dean Henderson.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got the same. I've gone
s-
for 2 goalkeepers. And
Oh,
I've
have you
picked
gone for
both.
2? Have
I thought you were agreeing with me
Yeah, I
before,
thought you were
yeah.
agreeing with Cam.
No, like in real life,
Yeah.
obviously you take 3 to a
Well,
tournament.
why is that obvious?
Because it's what
just
every
what
other team
happens,
does.
isn't it?
Oh,
But
yes.
from my opinion, I think to make space for other players in the squad, I'm gonna only go with 2 goalkeepers.
I think Nick Pope should start as well
No, I think Dean
because
Henderson.
Nick Pope's more clean sheets, better
More
shots,
clean sheets,
better
but
shot
how many
stopper,
goals has he conceded compared to Dean Henderson?
better shot stopper. That's better shot stopper for me. So that's what I'd go with. I think fundamentally for a goalkeeper, you need him to be a good shot stopper, and Nick Pope is a very good.
There's no, I agree because I put Nick Pope in my squad, but I think Dean Henderson has had a better season, so he deserves. If he at the Euros, I think he deserves.
I
to
mean, he's
play
got a
over
mistake in him.
Who, Dean Henderson?
Mhm.
You're thinking of what, 1, maybe 2 mistakes.
One mistake that was
big
against
mistake,
Liverpool.
one slight mistake.
He's only
You
conceded
know.
22 goals in a team that got promoted from the Championship last season.
Is that testament to the defence though?
It's a bit of both.
Everything.
Because he's made 70 saves. One of them's been a penalty that he saved. I think he's been a brilliant, outstanding goalkeeper in the Premier League. I think arguably he's been the best.
I think Nick Pope.
People are talking about Dean Henderson playing for top teams next season. They're not speaking about Nick
Yeah,
Pope.
but Nick
like
Pope
that.
doesn't get his dues the same that
And
that
there's something
Dean
else that needs to be
Henderson
noted.
does.
Dean Henderson's played 2 less games than Nick Pope and only has 1 less clean sheet. So if we said this in 2 games' time, Dean Henderson might have more clean sheets than Nick Pope.
I'm going with Nick Pope.
I mean, obviously,
If you're not
I'm
changing.
traditional. I've got my 3 goalkeepers, but obviously, I'm going Dean Henderson as my main one, Nick Pope as second, and then he's been rubbish, but we can take him as a
Jordan Pickford.
yeah. We'll take
Oh,
just
Ben Foster deserves it over Jordan Pickford.
You're not taking Jordan Pickford,
I
I think-
wouldn't.
even if you had 3. I mean, if I had a third, I'd pick Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
So
No, I
he's
wouldn't.
look. He's still a. I know he's. People do like to poke, stick at him, but he's still a decent goalkeeper.
If I was England manager going to a tournament, I'd select players off the form that season. I wouldn't pick it off previous tournaments or previous caps. I'd choose it on keepers who have been best, and not just statistically, but when you watch the games, like I just think Ben Foster has been better than Dean Henderson
think
this season.
to
Not Dean
progress-
Henderson, than Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
to progress far in tournaments, you need a certain level of stability and experience, and I think with having, I'm
Ben
not saying
Foster's got
I'm
a
not-
lot of experience though.
I'm not saying play Pickford, yeah, but in the national camp, getting far in a tournament, you just have
you
that.
still need that.
You need a bit of a
international experience.
core to keep the group together of experience, and if they're not going to play, what does it really matter? Just
But
take him.
in my opinion, you've got other players in the squad who can be there for that reason.
The more
People who have experienced being far into tournaments. I mean, with England, apart from a good World Cup run, it's not as if we get to the semi or final every year, is it?
Mhm.
no.
But I think I get what you're saying, but I think you can have that experience from other players within the squad.
Yeah, there are more deserving players, but if for just third choice goalkeeper, I'd take Pickford because it doesn't matter too much.
No.
Okay, so we'll move on to defenders. Phil, I'll start with you this time.
Should we start with full backs and then do
Yeah.
centre halves
I-
after?
Yeah.
I put right backs first, so
Yeah.
we'll
Right,
start
so
with right backs.
I've actually selected 3 right backs.
I've also done
I
3
think
right backs.
so. I'll name each one of them now: Trent Arnold, Alexander Arnold, Kyle Walker, and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
I think they're the best for English right backs. The reason I selected 3 is because Wan-Bissaka, if they played like 5 at the back, maybe you could play on that right centre back position.
Walker
Like
can do that
Walker,
as well.
yeah.
And Walker can, so I think it makes perfect sense to name all 3 in the squad. Obviously, you need depth in the tournament, so
Yeah, when you've got that depth and quality in that position, you can easily sacrifice an extra midfielder that's probably not going to play too much to have, still have the quality in defence. And I think defence is, especially for England, obviously, is a position that we've struggled in for the past couple of years. So I think when you have that quality there, especially those 3, arguably 3 of the best right backs in the world right now. I think you'd be stupid not to take all 3. Especially.
All right, no offense taken.
Why have you got?
I've only got 2 of them
Well, you're
because
stupid then.
yeah, obviously you 2 cheated with only having 2 goalkeepers though.
Not
So-
cheated. It's
No, yeah. If Yeah, I would agree. I've only chosen Trent and Wan-Bissaka.
So you drop Walker.
Yeah, if I didn't have Pickford, I would have Walker in the squad because it does depend on what formation we're playing. Obviously, if we are playing 5 at the back, then yeah, take Walker. But if you're only playing 4, then I wouldn't bother.
Who would you, out of interest, if there was a 4 at the back at the Euros, would you play Arnold or Wan-Bissaka?
Oh, that's so.
Trent.
I'd still
You'd go for Trent.
I'd still
Trent.
play Trent because
Ah,
Trent's like world class. So I think you've got to kind of obliged to have him
Yeah.
in there.
So it's a clean sweep for Trent. Then.
Oh, it's close.
It is
though.
very
It's
close. Like, even as
because you have to consider Wan-Bissaka.
they're two different players.
Wan-Bissaka is probably the best
You've got to.
defensive
One-on-one
fullback in the
fullback.
world.
Like Jamie Carragher said, I think he's the best one-on-one fullback in the world.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka.
I think you need to even it up depending on the other fullback, and I think Trent is gonna outweigh any attacking option on the left back. So we'll have a more defensive left back if Trent's the right back.
But
kind of
then
thing.
Could you argue that Wan-Bissaka outweighs in the other way, saying
He
Defensive.
does
Sorry,
outweigh him, but
outweigh
not
everyone
as
else.
much, not to that much of an extent.
I'd argue Trent's the best attacking fullback in the world, and I'd probably
Yeah.
say Wan-Bissaka's
No,
the best
yeah.
defensive.
Imagine
fullback
if you
in
could
the
have
world.
a hybrid of both.
Like, if there was a way that would benefit the whole team in playing them both, then you'd stick them in.
How much do you think it would work if you did have Wan-Bissaka as a right centre back and Trent as a right wing
as
back?
a whole
I think
team?
it would be
Yeah.
brilliant.
As a whole team?
Yeah.
No.
I think in the defensive, it's Belgium the first game, isn't it, in the Euros? And I think if you're playing
Is it
that
Belgium?
Belgium, I think.
Have
Oh
you
no,
got Yeah, I
Croatia.
was gonna say,
I'm
I think
thinking
Belgium.
Nations League.
Yeah.
But no, I think if you're playing a team like Belgium or so on, in a friendly or whatever.
Just to back up your point, yeah.
No,
go on.
just back up. I think a 5-back could work, but I think further on it could affect the midfield balance.
I don't think if you play a 5-back, you don't get the best out of Sterling, Sancho, and
You could
or
still
the
you could
attack.
still play
But-
the front three, but we'll get on to that.
Yeah.
We're going off a bit of a tangent.
Yeah,
but
So
again, aren't we?
we're going on to left backs.
yeah. So we've agreed.
on
Trent-
Arnold and Wan-Bissaka,
Yeah,
Kyle
definitely
Walker.
Kyle Walker is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We
as
can
a
ignore
24th.
Pickford. We can ignore
Yeah.
Pickford and go for him then.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the left backs. I'll just start by saying I've got 2.
I've got
That's-
2 as well.
That's fair. I think left back's not as strong as right back. Ben Chilwell, Luke Shaw.
I've gone for the same.
Clean, not a clean sweep. No.
Chilwell. And if Luke Shaw carries on it depends now, from now till the end of the
Yeah.
season, between Luke Shaw and Saka. Because Saka is playing brilliant.
Saka is
and
good.
If he carries this on till the end of the season, I think, but it depends. It really does depend, because at the minute they're both in great form. Luke Shaw's only just come into the great form, and so is Saka as a left back.
Yeah.
Do you think you could make a case on the other flank for Reece James? Because he's
Not-
enjoying a decent
not with,
season as
not
well.
with the quality we've already got there.
Yeah,
For me.
yeah, I do get you though.
But yeah, like definitely.
Because I feel like the 2 up and coming left back and right back. So in a few years, maybe you could see.
he's versatile as well. Reece
Yeah.
James, so,
Yeah. But
But yeah,
I've gone. It really just depends.
it's a good
from
shout,
now.
Saka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
But-
I think if you have Trent, you have Chilwell. If you
Yeah.
have
Wan-Bissaka,
Wan-Bissaka,
yeah,
Saka.
you can't have Trent and Saka because that would be like
Yeah.
just absolutely mental.
Unless you was going 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Saka and Trent, would fit
Saka's a good
perfectly.
left wing back
Mm.
Yeah.
option. Yeah.
I think Chilwell, though, he's good going
Yeah.
forward as well.
He
Yeah.
has to, yeah.
he's he's had a little dip in form, and Chilwell. But
When he last played for England, though, in the friendlies, he played really well.
Yeah.
From what I recall.
Yeah.
but yeah, he's good going forward. He's sound enough going back. He'll probably need a little bit of help on that side though. So we've agreed Chilwell and Shaw with an argument
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Saka. Anyone else left backs you think of? Danny Rose.
I've looked at stats, right,
No, you
for this
can't.
season in the Premier League, and someone who's having a really low-key good season, and you're both going to laugh here because you're not
You gonna
gonna
say Matt Target?
Nope.
Okay,
Ryan
that's fine.
Bertrand.
Oh.
He's enjoying a good season at Southampton. He's
No, he's a decent player, yeah, but I don't think.
I don't think you can warrant
No,
him
yeah.
in the England squad. This is why
Brandon
I
Williams?
haven't gone for him.
I think Luke Shaw's got the edge on him at Manchester United at the minute. So
In a
it'd be
few
tough
years,
to-
we're blessed for right back and left backs in the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. So we'll move on
Centre
to centre backs. First of all, let's just say how many of you got Phil?
4,
I've got 4.
3.
3.
Yeah. I'm just thinking with
You can play Walker Wan-Bissaka.
you can
if
play,
need
yeah.
it.
So I think you still have that
Actually,
versatility.
I'm going to
of-
drop mine down to 3 as well.
I've persuaded you over Phil.
Mm.
So I'll start with my 3: Joe Gomez, Harry Maguire, and if he gets back in the Chelsea team consistently, Fikayo Tomori.
If
It's a
Yeah,
big
it's-
if
it's a
because
big
he's really gone out of fortune at Chelsea.
I know, but he's really good. He's like,
but he's not better than Zuma or Rudiger.
yeah, but
I don't rate Zuma.
All right, so
I think he's really poor.
sorry, but you got to think who's better. Who's better than Tomori?
Tyrone Mings.
No.
Yeah. The way England set up, and I think one player is being overlooked here, and Gareth Southgate's recently apologised about.
Chris Smalling.
Yeah,
I've got him.
Chris
in my-
Smalling.
Hmm.
He said he was too harsh on Smalling years ago, and he's apologised to him.
It
and
was
he's in great form.
For me, it was between Tomori and Ben Mee, because I think Ben Mee's really overlooked as well, and he's a left footer.
What about
And we-
Lewis Dunk?
Yeah.
I think
That
there's
as
quite
well.
a few that are
Ty-
knocking on the door, but
Tyrone Mings left-footed as well, and I'd prefer to have Tyrone Mings than Ben Mee.
Would you?
Yeah,
No.
but all day.
No.
Oh,
No.
only because
Ben
he's your
Mee's
lookalike.
Ben Mee's
would anyone have John Stones in the England team?
No.
No.
No. Not even as a side. We've waited and waited for John Stones to come good, and he's what 24, 25 now, and you expect him now to be like kind of more or less pushing on into his prime, and he's still making these silly mistakes that he's not been able to, eradicate from his game. You see the one at Villa a couple of weeks ago. He's still got that in his game, and I think even he showed it in the Nations League as well last summer. You need defenders that are going to be reliable. Fundamentally, you want them to be, reliable.
You don't want to be going into tournament going, oh, well, if he has a bad game, we'll drop him. You need to be this our starting
Yeah.
team.
So who are your 3 centre halves then?
Gomez, Maguire, Tomori, and I'm kind of bordering. I agree with you two as well with Chris Smalling. I think he's had a really good season. Chris Smalling and maybe Ben Mee, but that's I feel like that's
three's
just me.
turned
I don't
into
know
about
why.
6.
Yeah.
But
No,
They're the
I'm
ones
gonna
in contention.
drop mine down to 3 and add an extra one in later in the midfield or striker
All right, I
department.
thought you were saying an extra one like that, an
Um,
extra centre back. Why?
No, so Maguire, Gomez, and Smalling for me as my 3 centre backs.
Okay, Cam.
I've got the same 3 with Tyrone Mings.
So you got 4 then.
Yeah, I've got the same 3 with Tyrone Mings.
Can't back Tyrone Mings.
Why?
I don't know.
What have you got against him?
There's something about him.
I've
That
watched him stamp on Zlatan's head and I'm still picking him.
Yeah, so we'll move on. We'll go defensive midfielders first.
No doubt about it.
Or-
John Henderson.
Okay,
Oh,
straight
yeah.
in there, Phil. Alright,
Straight in
alright,
there
I was going
for
to do a
me.
bit of a...
I mean, I think
If
yeah,
there's
you can't
one,
really
if
look
there's one
past him.
midfielder who deserves to be in the England squad based off this season, Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed with the midfield. I thought we were quite stacked, but the
We're
more I
not.
look into it,
Yeah,
the worse it gets.
The deeper and deeper you get, you're like,
Mm.
well, I'm kind of keep picking at bones. But yeah, I agree.
I
John
think
Henderson.
only really have like one defensive-minded midfielder who I think warrants a place in the squad.
yeah, I
We're
feel
blessed for attacking
I've got
options.
I've-
Who's the second one?
Calvin Phillips.
Ooh, that's a good.
no.
Calvin Phillips.
Um,
I know it's a bit of a a rogue shout.
It's a good
but-
shot though.
But he's a really good passer of the ball. He can also play centre back as well, which is again versatility is something you need. I know he's not got top level experience, but I think if there's one risk worth taking in that squad, I think it's Calvin Phillips. I don't think Southgate will pick it. I think he'll
no,
probably
he's
go with Declan
he's a
Rice.
good player, but you haven't seen what he's like at top level only against Arsenal in the cup.
And he bossed it.
Yeah,
for the
but
first 60 minutes.
I no.
I think for me,
He's a good
that
shout.
extra slot I had spare. I'm gonna go for Calvin Phillips as
No,
well.
He's a good shout.
He's the best player. He's the best player in the Championship.
Yeah, but
for me.
you can't. Top nations don't take second league players.
No, but then again, look at the
Leeds
The-
will probably be in
our-
the Premier League next season.
our second division. I know it's a second division, but it's still like stacked with good players. I know I'm
Yeah.
spitting into the mic here, but
Sorry, everyone.
it's still like got a lot of top quality in there.
I've obviously Jordan Henderson. I don't think you can look past him because if you got Trent as right back as well, they work perfectly together on that right hand
Mhm.
side. Because obviously Trent pushed on.
He was
Henderson
really good
covers a
in the
bit.
World Cup as well, John Henderson.
Yeah, but I mean, I've gone for 2 other players that can play in that holding role next to Henderson.
Best not be
They're
Eric
not-
Dyer.
Don't say Harry Winks.
They're not
Don't say Harry Winks.
they're not great, but they're just there. They'll keep it ticking over. So I've got Declan Rice and Harry Winks.
Oh, why? That is so safe. That
yeah,
is
but
so
I think you just
safe.
need a couple of them players just to be in the squad. They can come in if a game's ticking down. I mean, I've obviously got more players that can play in centre mid and centre attacking mid. Kind of depends what formation we're playing and stuff. 'Cause if,
Okay.
I think what we're going 4-3-3.
How many?
really.
Well,
Yeah.
I had 2 sort of formations, but what we'll do is after we've named all the players, we sort of choose our own starting 11 with our own formation that we prefer. But how many midfielders have we all gone for?
I've
Like
got
in the squad.
2 DMs, 5 centre mids.
I've got 7 that can play within the CDM centre mid kind of role.
I've got 5.
Done it.
Mm.
Wait, so
I've gone for quite a few attackers.
If you've got a midfield 3 though, going through a whole tournament, you haven't got much differential.
but you don't really want to
options,
change midfield up too much in a tournament, do you?
I think
in
it's
my
one of the
opinion.
positions where when the games start going, because they come thick and fast, you've
Mm.
got to change it up a bit.
It does
in that
depend on the
position.
formation, because the one that I sort of am thinking of using, you wouldn't need too many
You're
midfielders.
playing like 5-2-3 or something.
Potentially.
Yeah, I did consider that.
yeah, I don't think you get the best out of.
The thing is, with
Default
that
line-up.
formation, you don't get enough of the attacking players in the lineup, especially your midfielders that we're going to get onto.
Mhm.
I think James Maddison,
Yeah, I've got Madison.
Jack Grealish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I've gone for Chamberlain
Yeah.
as my 3 other midfielders alongside Phillips and Henderson.
Yeah, I've got the 3 that you've just mentioned in Grealish, Maddison, and Chamberlain as well, and one other.
Yeah, I've got Grealish, Madison, Chamberlain, Mount,
Yeah.
Loftus-Cheek.
The silence.
Okay, so
But he's been injured all season.
yeah, but if he
Yeah.
gets 10 games at the end of the season, he's going.
So you're relying on Chelsea giving a few youth academy
Yeah,
prospects a go.
not everything's based on form. You're not going to pick a whole team based on form.
I've gone for Mason Mount as well because obviously the attacking positions Mount can play on that left wing as well
Mhm.
nicely if need be. I wouldn't start him. He wouldn't.
No, I
No,
wouldn't
but-
start him as well.
He's a good versatile player that can play in the centre mid, centre attack mid, left wing if we needed.
Yeah, my Loftus-Cheek choice, I'm not basing it off form because not every
I don't
selection.
know what you're
in-
basing it off, to be
well,
honest.
because he's something different. Like Grealish, Maddison, Mount are all kind of similar players, playmakers /
That's why I haven't chose Mount, because you don't need 3 of the
But
same players.
Loftus-Cheek. He's 6'3".
I had him because there wasn't many attacking options and he can play on that left wing if needed.
I
That's
think
the
you've
only
got
reason I
other
picked him.
options on the left wing, though, in my opinion.
Not that strong for depth wise.
What, left wing?
Not massive depth.
No.
And I just
I
think
think we've-
versatile players are good for like tournaments like these.
Anyway, I'll carry on talking about Loftus-Cheek before I
I
was
don't
rudely
know why.
interrupted.
Yeah. No, we're interrupting for a reason.
No, but he's something different.
If he had played all season,
I don't
form that he's
think
shown
it
in the
matters. I don't think form always
You need-
matters. It's
no, but going
quality
into
as
the
well.
squad,
International experience. He's played
there's
really
nine,
well at the
there's
World
9
Cup.
games left of the Premier League season.
Yeah, and if he plays all 9,
No,
and
but
he
he's
plays
not
really
going.
well,
He's
you
not
don't
going
tell
to
me
play all 9
Loftus-Cheek.
games, and you need rhythm. You need fitness to go into a tournament that's as big as the Euros. For that reason, I wouldn't choose Loftus-Cheek.
Don't know where you're coming from with it, to be honest, Lucas.
For God's sake, look, like just something different. It's not every selection in here is based off form. Okay,
I'm not
Loftus-
going off
hell.
form. I'm going off the
Loftus-Cheek-
fact he's been injured with
Loftus-
a really bad injury for the last.
yeah,
like,
and
however long it's
if he
been.
gets 5 games even if he gets 5 games at the end of the season, he gets in a good run, he's going.
So you think a
For me,
player
he's
who
going.
has 5
Yeah.
appearances in the league
Yeah.
deserves it over someone who's played all season?
If he's better than them, yeah.
I'll tell you a player who's different then. Jesse Lingard. We'll take him. He's something different, isn't he? Yeah.
No,
he's,
definitely
he's
not.
not.
Exactly.
He's not something.
Yeah.
He's not really something different though.
He is.
In terms of stature,
Centre attacking mid that can't score or assist. That's something different, that. Just take him. He's different.
no. You bastard. No.
Language. Sorry
Lo-
for the language on this. We do not condone that.
Loftus. I'm the host. I get to say whatever I like.
Chris, you'll have us banned.
No, Loftus-Cheek, and I'm not budging.
All right, me and Phil will just leave then instead.
Should we move on to attackers?
We'll move.
Yeah, might as well now.
Oh, you've got me rattled now. Right. Attackers.
Who's he gonna say now? Callum Wilson, Troy Deeney.
I've actually got Callum Wilson.
Yeah, right.
I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Name all of your attackers.
all of them.
Name all of them one by one.
Sterling, Kane, Sancho, Rashford, Abraham, Wilson.
You've got a lot.
6.
I've got
3 wingers, 3 strikers.
Yeah, but it
Rashford
seems
can
you had a
play up
lot
front.
compared to the amount of defenders and the amount of.
Let me just do this really quick
Midfield.
because I swear this is right. So 2. How many defenders? 8. That's 10. Yeah. Is that
it?
right? Yeah.
Gross.
7 midfielders, 6 attackers. That's 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sterling, Kane, Sancho don't really need much explaining. Kane, captain, scores a lot for England. Although people say arguably Abraham should start. I've heard people say that, but Kane for me scores loads for England. Is the captain. He's arguably the first name of the team sheet
Just
for me.
hopefully Kane and Rashford can recover really
yeah.
well.
This is obviously putting
Yeah.
that they do.
I think they will.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sterling again doesn't really need much explanation. He's been in a bit of dip of form for Man City, but the quality's still there. You know that, and he will turn it back on. I said this on the Instagram the other day and on previous podcasts.
Do you think
I
it's
said-
one of those things? As soon as he gets a goal,
As soon as he gets a goal, he's back.
For England though,
For
he
me.
doesn't score that many.
He's started to.
Yeah, he started to. But
And not before post World Cup. He's started to bag a lot.
to be fair,
more.
there's no debate. He is. He deserves to be on that plane. 100%.
no, obviously.
Yeah. Sancho again. Quality's there, form's there, the output's there. I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't play those two though as out and out wingers because Sancho's not an out and out winger. He's more of a kind of floating
Yeah.
number 10.
They're like inside forwards
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
aren't they? And Kane.
Because Sancho spends a lot of his time either dropping in deep or in that kind of left half space. He's not a winger that'll spread the pitch too often. You want him to be in there as well because that's where he creates.
I'm surprised Kane suits them perfectly though. All the winger choices that we've got.
That front three, all firing. One of the best front threes in the competition. I think that's fair to say. Rashford, pre-injury was brilliant. He's probably United's best player pre-injury of the season. Again, that doesn't really need much argument. Abraham, good backup striker, different option. Scores a lot. And Callum Wilson, again, different option. And I've kept saying that, but you need that sort. You don't want the same mould of player. I don't know why you're smiling. And I think Callum, again, it's like you said earlier, it's about keeping the camp together. And I think Callum Wilson's been with that quite a lot, and I think that's quite important. So I don't think you don't even have to play him. It's just good to have him.
Phil,
in there.
have you chosen Abraham or Wilson?
Nope.
No, I haven't either.
Not choose either of them.
No, I think
Really?
Abraham.
I don't think Abraham, as good as he was at the start of the season, I don't think he's replicated any kind of that form.
Yeah, but he's been
since.
injured.
He's not clinical enough, I don't think, in front of goal.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't need that.
A striker
Look at
that's
Giroud-
not
I
clinical.
know, but look at Giroud.
Who are your strikers?
Obviously, Sancho, Rashford, Sterling, Kane, obvious. And I've got one more, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Because of the versatility that he can play across the front three. And as you like to say, he offers something a bit different.
Yeah, no, I'd see your point in that, but I think that's why I've got Abraham in that mould rather than Calvert.
I think he shows that bit more, energy rather than Abraham up front. I think he'll complement the team a lot better as well, rather than having Abraham.
I see your point, Phil.
So, Kane, one of these I think you might raise eyebrows at. Kane, Sterling, Sancho, Rashford, Ings, Hudson-Odoi, Calvert-Lewin.
Stinker choice.
What? Odoi?
Yeah. What is it with these average young English Chelsea players?
Loftus-Cheek is proven, so that's
Proven to be good injured, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
quality's there.
He started to break into the England team though,
He did.
Hudson-Odoi.
He's not been on it this
No,
season.
he hasn't. He should be playing week in, week out for Chelsea and to a good standard, and he is not. He wastes a lot. He's more wasteful. He's the most wasteful player in Chelsea's team, actually.
I thought you was going to say he was more
he's
wasteful
really
than Salah then. I
Oh God.
thought you were digging up holes from earlier.
No,
No, in my opinion, I'm Hudson-Odoi. He might not necessarily play.
how many
but-
attackers have you got then?
Well, I've just realised I only had 21 players. So
No wonder you're adding players in.
yeah. So I've added Dele Alli
Told
into my
you to
midfielders.
You've added Dele Alli.
That's actually not a bad shout either.
Yeah, so
we were
he's
saying
an
earlier.
extra midfielder for me.
Yeah.
And then I've added Calvert-Lewin to my strikers as well.
Well, I won't argue against Dele Alli because he's miles above Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Okay, right. Well, mate,
You're beginning to
maybe.
realise you're fighting a losing battle.
No, I just like Loftus-Cheek. That's what it is. I just think
What about him?
something different.
It can't be his footballing ability from this season, can it?
Yeah, but you don't have to base it off this season. It's just quality.
Oh, fine. We'll start
Well, yeah, but-
Rob Green in net then.
But Dele Alli, okay, fair enough.
Anyway,
Like, that's
Hudson-Odoi, he's going to the Euros.
Yeah, no, he's
moving
not.
back. Yeah, the attackers.
Um,
Hudson-Odoi.
Just to add a number to the squad. I think he's
That
a good
it?
enough player. No, he deserves to be in it. In my
Does he?
opinion.
deserves.
As a striking option, I think
I'm taking
You
George
just don't- you don't
Pickford
want-
again now.
I've gone for Calvert-Lewin and Ings, both central strikers. You don't want to have loads of central strikers if you're playing 4-3-3, unless you play two at the top. Another formation I'm thinking of, 4-2-2, could potentially work.
Yeah, but don't you think like Hudson-Odoi's a little bit similar to what's already in there?
Who's he similar to?
I'm thinking about that actually.
He's just worse
But
versions.
Yeah, I just don't think.
I don't think he deserves it. Obviously, Danny Ings, you can't argue against him. He's scoring the goals. I can't see Southgate taking Ings
I don't either.
because he's just getting to that.
I think this is a mini little renaissance for Danny Ings, and then he might drop
Yeah.
off again. Maybe. I mean, he's not scored for a while, has he?
Who would your starting 11 be then?
Right,
Moving
what
on from
formations are you going for?
Well, you can choose your own.
I've got a 4-3-3.
I'll go 4-3-3 then.
I'm going to go 4-2-2.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I've got Nick Pope in goal.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Dean Henderson. You both got Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
Right back. Trent.
Trent.
Sorry. Wind.
I've got Maguire and Gomez in centre back.
Yeah, I've got Maguire on the left and Gomez on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you got the same, Phil?
Say that again.
You got the same.
Gomez
Maguire and Gomez.
right centre back.
Yeah.
Maguire left.
Sorry,
yeah.
I
With
heard
it. Chilwell left back.
Yep.
Central defensive midfield, I'd have John Henderson. Central midfielders, I'd have Grealish and Ox.
All right, I'll go the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil?
Well, I'm going in a slightly
different.
different formation.
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
Who
so
your two?
Two CDMs.
So obviously the back, Henderson, Arnold, Gomez, Maguire, and Chilwell.
Yep, we're with the programme.
Yeah, I'm just speaking through it. And then as the two central midfielders, Henderson and I'm gonna go Chamberlain.
Okay. Yeah.
And then as sort of the two number 10s / attackers,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Sterling. No, not Sterling. Sorry, Rashford and Sancho. And then Sterling and Kane up top.
Would you not play Sterling on that left and Rashford up top?
I think Sterling would be good up top alongside Kane. And I think Rashford could play in that sort of attacking central.
I'm just trying to think of this.
It's very
Rashford to the
very
left.
attacking, isn't it?
Yeah, that is like.
It does depend on the opposition, but a team like England group stages should be beating teams that
Does
come
the
up.
space?
Croatia,
Does the
Czech.
spacing work?
Oh,
Really?
Rashford
Is that-
Because
Oh.
Kane will always drop in.
You'll have Rashford and Sterling playing
Rashford
level.
will be kind of like.
Right, we'll ignore the 4-2-2
Taking
then, and I'll go
Sterling's
4-3-3.
All right, who are your
Okay.
3 centre mids again then?
Henderson's a hold in.
Yeah.
Chamberlain on the right, and then I'm going to go for Maddison.
Okay. Prefer Maddison to Grealish?
I just think it's really close between the both of them, but I think Maddison just about edges it.
Okay.
So Henderson, Holding, we've all gone for that.
Mhm.
With two of us Grealish, one Maddison, and all Chamberlain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Right wing.
Sancho.
I don't want to call it wing because he don't really play that.
Right
forward more. Yeah. Left forward.
Sterling.
Sterling.
And
Striker
Kane up top.
Kane.
Right forward Sancho, striker Kane, left forward Rashford.
You pick him over Sterling?
At the minute.
Ooh.
At the minute, well, he's injured.
Yeah, exactly.
He's no good at minute. Yeah. Would you think so? If Rashford gets a run of games before the Euros, he goes ahead of Sterling.
Yeah, if Sterling carries on the way he is. If
Sterling
Sterling
has to
improves.
start.
I still think even if Sterling isn't scoring, Sterling provides more, even if he's not scoring, compared to what Rashford.
Rashford's improved that side of his game now, but it depends. If Sterling improves now until the end of the season, he has to go in.
Okay.
It's a tight one.
Yeah, no, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Still, Rashford's, if he can get back to what he was, kind of post Christmas, he'll be world class, no doubt. So yeah, is that everything wrapped up?
Well, after saying all that, the Euros probably be postponed.
Yeah,
anyway.
hopefully, coronavirus permitting, this conversation won't be worthless in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, that'll wrap everything up. Slightly shorter podcast today. We didn't want to talk or preview any games because the coronavirus is killing football off very slowly in 2020. So if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, share your mates, share to your mates, share your mates, share to your mates. We do have an Instagram, as I said at the start, at the 451 podcast. That's THE451. Let's do it all together. Come on. PODCAST. So yeah, like I said, leave a like, and we will speak to you all next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.